1 second.
Okay, just waiting for my cue here. Got the juggling act.
Okay.
I guess that's it. Okay, welcome to the June 27, 2024 special meeting of the Albany County Planning and Zoning Commission. Let's do a quick roll call. Platt.
Here.
Hanning.
Here.
Kokornik.
Here.
And David.
Yeah.
Hinckley is here. We have a full team. Our topic for today is updates to the Aquifer Protection Overlay Zone regulations. And let's let staff introduce us to where we are and where you think we're going.
Yeah, Mr. Chair, Commissioners. So after our last meeting, we included the comments and edits that were made in the meeting. And Matt's put some, I don't know, made some minor edits or whatever, but that's all based on what we talked about last week. I mean, I think we looked at what you provided as well, Mr. Chair. And, so in your packet, there's a bunch of stuff. So we've got the original, or I guess the first couple are the red line and the clean version of what staff put together for you today. There's also both the red line and clean from what was published. If you needed to look at those, I don't know if we do. And then also included Mr. Hickley's draft that he just had a few comments in there to look at if we wanted to look at those. So that's where we're at. That's what we have.
Okay. Yeah, what's happened since then, 2 weeks? Went by in a flash, as they always do. So my comments you'll see were just based on going back through the city comments with more care and some of the things we talked about. So nothing substantive there. And then one of the other things I was trying to do was to get in writing some of articulation of that discussion of surface features. You may remember that. And we kind of discussed it, but I thought it would be useful to have that written down someplace. And I think Mr. Harris has assured us it makes his life easier if they don't have to present, grainy videos as evidence, but there's something that you can quote. So we'll want to look at that, and it's just me at this point. If you guys feel comfortable with those comments, that we can kind of make them part of the record going forward. I know Mr. Harris has been talking to Maura, which was advice that came out of our last meeting. We had the luxury of volunteering her services at Absentia. You're also the new chairman, and you're going to.
I watched the video. I know that.
Oh. So how to wade into this? I'll confess, and this is my mental bandwidth. The red line just gets so. I guess maybe you could just create a red line for us of what's changed since we were here last time. I think we were at the point of approving something last time, and then we had these few little odds. And so it seemed to me sensible. Let's just focus on the changes since 2 weeks ago, if that works for you guys.
Sure. I think I have that created, so.
Oh, okay.
That we can bring up. And if I miss anything, we can catch that.
Okay.
Yeah, that's exactly what I wanted to say, that
Okay.
I could not follow what was changed and what was not, because I tried to read the clean version and I couldn't remember what we changed from the
Yeah.
last. I went to the red line and I was like, I'm sorry.
All right. Well, if Mr. Kirsch can walk us through changes since last time, that would be very helpful. Right. Mr. Harris, you better do that.
Yeah, so I guess what you see in the draft amendment staff updates, red line and clean, we did incorporate all of Burns' changes except number 4 in the table of prohibited land uses. Mr. Chair, you had said commercial facilities providing lawn care or pest control. So what you see in the staff updates is commercial land uses providing lawn care or pet control. pest control, because the term facilities isn't really used elsewhere in the, zoning and resolution, nor is it defined. Number 7, where, Mr. Chair had changed landfill or waste disposal on residential or commercial property. I thought it would be better, based off of our conversation last week, to just strike landfill or dumps on residential or commercial property, because we're talking about commercial accumulation. So I guess it doesn't really make sense to make that residential or commercial property distinction,
Okay,
because it would be the actual prohibition controlling, not the example. And that was it.
okay, as far as, and then you and I discussed another deletion, so then we'll hit that in Mr. Birch's.
Which deletion had,
It was the subsurface waste disposal, which
yes,
okay, so
Yeah.
that's kind of a package that I think you'll talk more about. Well, all right, how about you guys get Mr. Platt?
Well, I have one question for Matt.
Good.
Towards the end of our meeting, I asked you where there were specific problems that you had identified when you stood up and said, we can't prove this quite yet. And you cited lines 140 or places at or beginning at line 140, 208, and 247. And this red line version, I don't see any changes there, so I'm wondering.
yes. So
What happened with that?
140, because of, Commissioner Hinckley and I had discussed,
Let's get us on track. 140 of the
clean.
So, Mr. Gertz, have you got all of this? Can we just start at the top and go down? Will you catch all these as we go by, or should we just dive in and start?
I would rather start from the top and go down to the bottom, but.
That works for me, and then we'll hit yours as we go by. Is that
Well,
better?
and just more generally, I was wondering if you took care of that.
Yeah.
Those things been taken care of.
Mhm.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay. And then we could talk about those changes I suggest for table of uses, but that works for you guys. And if you know where we are, we'll
Yeah.
trust you as to be our fearless leader here. So start us at the top
Okay, so.
of what, the clean version, I guess?
Yeah, so I took the clean version of not what we did at the last meeting, but a clean version of what was published. And then I went through and redlined the changes that we made at our last meeting. And so hopefully I hit all of those. So Joe, if you can scroll down to the definition of vulnerable feature, so that has at the ground surface was taken out.
You have to be line.
Okay,
Number.
so
Line number 38.
38. So I'm gonna find that 38.
On the clean version.
On the clean, perfect. Okay, I'm with you. Is everybody happy with this? Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
so keep scrolling down to the next grid.
Okay, and so the change there was just the change that we approved last meeting about
Yes.
okay, well, while we're there, did my explanation, was that acceptable to folks? Okay.
Yeah,
so-
the title said at the ground surface, but once, as you said, Mr. Chair, I mean, it got into the details and it talked about below the ground surface too.
Okay.
So,
Okay, so the comments that I added will now become comments from the commission rather than just from me. So we'll adopt those into the record, whatever that, maybe the minutes going forward or something.
okay.
And the point was to memorialize some explanation, and if my colleagues endorse that, then let's do that.
And David, will you be able to go back and include this kind of in the materials for this meeting? This document?
The one that we're doing?
Or this document right here, that wasn't included in the packet.
Correct. Yeah, I can do that. We can just attach it to the minutes if you want.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, yeah, or let's pause there for a second. What, and now that we have a commissioner
Honestly,
here,
just did
what do
this
you
for
want to
myself.
see as this
I had no
comes
idea.
to you? At some point, it has to be the existing
Correct.
with
The
everything
most
redlined,
recent is what we would want to see.
the one that's in effect today.
Correct.
And then these guys provide a red line of everything we've done. to you guys.
Mhm.
And a clean version usually is what we do.
Yeah,
Okay, and then a clean version of that, and so we could sweep up.
yeah,
all
I
this.
don't know, David, if in the packet we need all the red versions.
No,
What we'll do is we'll just like, we'll take what we have today, red line that, so we'll provide you a red line of that and a
then
clean
clean
version
version.
that
Up to
included
you.
the red lines. Yes.
Super.
Yeah, so you'll have two documents.
that's just for the record before planning and zoning. Just to ensure that this document is included.
Right, so something like those comments that I was trying to throw in, they would be appropriate to that red line version that you're gonna.
It'll be-
put forward.
There'll be like 5 versions in the minutes of this meeting.
Okay,
Well, actually, there'll be 6.
would it be useful to include that as what goes out of this meeting to the board?
They'll receive the minutes. They always receive planning and zoning
Okay.
minutes.
If you want to have a
So-
separate document, then we can.
It's
do
part of
that
the
as
record.
well.
Well, it was just that one place that it was kind of a pullout to explain what we
Yeah.
did. Now, maybe that's, or in your staff report, I know you will be reporting to them what we did.
Sure, I
Okay,
can
so-
do that,
so
yeah.
You
I
can direct
include
them
that.
to the.
Yeah.
Okay, there you go, just so we kind of keep the thread. Presumably, we're pre-digesting things to some degree for these guys, so they don't have to just start back at the start. Okay, so vulnerable features, I'm with you.
Okay, keep scrolling. Oh, you see something red? Okay, go back to that. Now, did we get this all taken care of, Matt?
Yeah, nothing will be changed there.
Okay, that was, I had a comment there, was like, is this right, basically, so,
That's your.
okay, and so number 4 here.
In them.
Okay, now we're in the table.
Yeah,
Okay.
this was a change, commercial land uses providing lawn care or pest control. And this goes back to one of the comments from city staff. Because they're like, well, how does this, they had some questions about it, and I think this provided this specificity that we needed.
Yeah, okay, so the seemed to be the problem there was that in their key from the city comment, did it mean that if you're doing lawn care on your own lawn, that doesn't matter? So that's the activity is spreading pesticides around as opposed to being a business that's stores
Yes.
pesticides
Yeah.
for purposes of spreading around. So that's where even your change, I thought facilities said more, it's the storage and the machinery and everything rather than the activity. So,
Yeah,
or
so
the land use, so that, it was just, is there a clearer way to say what we're trying to get at there? That was the ambiguity of the city flag.
yeah, so I guess facilities, that doesn't have a definition, nor is it used elsewhere in the zoning resolution. So my thought was commercial land uses. How's the land being used? The land is being used for the provision of lawn care or pest control. So it would,
Well, maybe it's the provision of, this sounds to me like if I hire a commercial outfit to come in and do lawn care and pest control,
No.
then that is a land
Because
use involving.
your
commercial.
land use is not providing it. It's receiving it.
Okay,
You're not
Land use is
a
residential.
commercial. The word commercial is the key.
okay, I mean, if you
It's
guys
gotta
are,
be zoned commercial.
okay,
Or it has to be in a zone that will allow that sort of commercial use.
so it's clear that I can hire a commercial applicator to come onto my property and that's not prohibited by this table.
Yeah, because
That's not the land use. The land use is residential when someone's coming out.
That's also receiving the care, not providing it.
Okay, that's all I was playing with that little bit of fish. Okay, if you guys are happy, I'm happy. Then the other, okay, good.
Number 7, just deleted the landfill or dumps on residential or commercial property.
So the example, everything's the same except example reads solid waste facility or intermediate processing center, period.
Yes.
That's where we ended. Okay.
And then,
Yeah, so the comment on 8, that was,
oh, yeah.
All right.
took me a while to figure out exactly what we were talking about last meeting. So sorry about that, Mom.
That's okay. You
but-
figured it out.
It was the question, because if we're removing the subsurface wastewater disposal, which is kind of the broad, and you could only address small wastewater system, but that was also being taken out, then was, what did we need to further address the remainder of subsurface wastewater disposal, less small wastewater facilities with the UIC prohibition? And the answer was, Commissioner Hanning, if you wanna,
We did an adequate job already covering it.
isn't that fantastic?
Yay!
No change.
Go ahead and go heirs. I'm sure there were some lawyers who might differ, but they can have the opportunity to do so. Very good.
And then 10 was the deletion of the crops and vegetation, whatever, from the commercial animal feeding operations, since none of us knew what.
We knew what it said, but that didn't say it.
All right. This one looks good, Matt.
Which one?
Yeah, IB.
Okay.
So IB is just, it's a call out in the SSI that you have to show documentation that a small wastewater facility will comply with the small wastewater facility regs. And I don't think that that sufficiently conflicts with the earlier statement that all development will comply with these regulations except small wastewater facilities, which shall be permitted in accordance with this. So it's just specifying that it's small wastewater facilities.
Okay.
That next one,
This was just a.
US Geological Survey 7.5, it said 7.5 apostrophe topo quadrangle map. Just when I was looking at it again, I didn't know what that meant, so I looked it up and I couldn't find anything where it was stylized as 7.5 apostrophe. It was all
It's a minute.
7.5 minute.
Yeah.
So I
Well,
thought
1 to 25,000, well, it might be a cleaner way to say it.
I had
Specify
no
the
idea.
scale.
I was just trying to fix the apostrophe.
Okay, all right, it's easy. Everybody knows what that, I think everybody knows what it means.
Yeah, I think the 7.5 minute would be more in people's
Yeah.
general usage than the scale.
Okay.
American system.
Alright. Stu? And then that was struck in its entirety because we can't require evaluation of proposed wastewater facilities, which are anything but small wastewater, and the small wastewater regulation should be in the small wastewater facility regulations, so that was the reasoning there.
So this, if I just to see if I characterize this correctly, was the general notion that we were going to extract design level requirements for septic systems from zoning regulations and put them into wastewater regs where those permits actually are issued.
Correct.
Okay.
And then in D, just we added, this is talking about the qualified professional that will review the investigation, basically will be selected by the county to review. This was, again, another comment from the city. We're just clarifying who is selecting the person.
Okay.
That's it.
Well, what do we do to do? Came all this way? All right.
Back to that last one. I'm looking at the clean version and it
Yeah,
doesn't
it's-
seem
It
to
is
match.
That's why
Yeah,
it states it's
not
not in that one. It's in the red line version, but they're two different versions, so
okay. So we'll.
I can fix that.
Any other
There
questions,
is-
comments? Go ahead.
There is a problem here with wording. It says reasonable costs of professional consultation to the county shall be reimbursed to the county.
Hmm.
We don't need it twice. We can say cost of professional consultation shall be reimbursed to the county.
I think maybe it's written that way because it just separates out just the part, so there's two consultants doing the work. The private entity would pay for both of them, but the county only gets reimbursed for one of them.
Yeah, but you don't need the word county twice in the same sentence. It's clear if it's cost of professional consultation.
Yeah, you could take out the second.
You can
to
take
the
out the
county,
second one.
then that would be.
So, yeah, I mean, I could go either way. I see Commissioner Henning's point of,
In general, you should not use the same word more than once in a single sentence.
unless it adds clarity.
I don't think it does.
Well, okay,
I like the way it's written there. I would stand with the county twice.
I'm okay with that.
It's clearer.
I mean, because there are these two professional costs that are floating around out there, one's to the county and one's to them. It's the ones to the county that will be reversed to the county because the county's the ones that paid. So it isn't the prettiest sentence in the world, but I think there's a tiny distinction there.
I agree with Commissioner Ben David. The second one does not need to be included to have the same effect.
That would make it clear that we're talking about the cost to the county.
Yeah, because it's a reasonable cost of professional consultation to the county shall be reimbursed by the property.
So you're suggesting strike the second one, did that suit you, Ms. David?
Lead to the county.
Yeah.
We're striking the second to the county. Is everybody okay with that?
Yes.
Other thoughts? Sure, more will occur to us and to the fierce editing of Commissioner Ibarra, but we'll get to that. Questions for staff, legal or planning? You. Okay. Then what we need is a motion to certify these to the Board of County Commissioner with our recommendation to proceed. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay, somebody.
I move that we approve this and make it available to the county commission.
I'll second that.
Could it be, the exact wording be certify?
That's the word we use.
Okay,
Yeah,
certify.
because we- And as, I guess,
Amended.
as amended at this meeting.
Okay, as I understand the motion, it is that we are moving to certify the amendments to the county APOZ regulations to the Board of County Commissioners with our recommendation that they be approved. Is there a second to that motion?
I'll second it.
Okay, seconded by Commissioner Kornick. Further discussion? Hearing none. Mr. Platt?
I vote aye.
Ms. Hanning?
Aye.
Mr. Kornick?
Aye.
Mr. David?
Aye.
Hinckley votes aye, and we're done. Yes.
One item of clarification. So, in my memo, I said I was gonna add, what am I adding? Just that your discussion on vulnerable feature and why we included or did not include at the ground surface? Is that?
That was the piece that isn't in the body of the text itself that might be helpful for them. Also, I noticed that the memo that you provided us says it's to the Board of County Commissioners. I'm assuming. I mean, that's actually.
Well, I just probably used a memo that had that.
Okay, so
Change it.
for the minutes, then, just as an editorial correction, we need to
Sure.
clarify which ones are to us and which ones are to them. So then what you'll provide to them is a similar memo saying, here's the history of this, here's where it came from. Please, and then you could just say, look at the red line numbers for minutes numbers 37 or something, if you want to hear an explanation. But that seems to me that would capture the discussion for their benefit.
Yeah.
That work. Okay. Then I have one additional question while we're here on the general subject. Tell us where we are on wastewater regs.
That is outside of the scope of what was noticed.
And no action is being proposed.
Still
Not on the
business
agenda.
being
Special
considered. Yeah, it's outside of, it's beyond the agenda. So that is a violation of the Public Meeting Act.
So we produce draft amended agendas and then we modify them on the spot. That doesn't.
It's just because this is a special.
This is a
meeting.
special meeting.
All right. We can all ask separately. All right. Well, then we've covered the specific item that was noticed for the special meeting. So we are adjourned. Thank you for taking some time out of your afternoon.
9 o'clock, Vern.
I don't expect this to happen again. All right, thanks, and thanks for all